The art of image recreation for screen printing in 2021. Turn a poor quality image into gold. Image recreation for screen printing. Your customer gives you a good-looking design to print on 150 t-shirts. After they leave, you take a closer look at the image and find that it is a simple JPEG file that becomes distorted when you increase the size. Now, what do? You will need to recreate the image. The goal is a crisp design that does not lose quality when it is resized, and not too complex for color separation into the fewest colors possible. Sounds easy, but is it? Let's walk through the process and discuss the most challenging aspects of the job and ways to conquer them. Vectorization in image recreation for screen printing. Let's talk about pixels and vector graphics. Pixels are best demonstrated by an image displayed in old-school Microsoft Paint. The smaller image doesn't look too bad, but look at how shaggy the 4 gets as it is enlarged. If you zoom in all the way, you can see the little squares that make up the shapes that you thought were round. Turning on grid lines function in Paint tells the whole story, as you can see in the image above. This image is not screen print ready. Let's compare the pixelated squares to the super smooth points, lines, and curves that make up a vector graphic. To convert a bitmap pixelated image to a vector graphic, you will need to use Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop for best results. There are a few open source free applications available on the internet that have similar functions, but we recommend you stick with Adobe. If you have never used Adobe's creative products, you'll have a much easier job if you go through online tutorials or take a class at the local community college. It isn't rocket science, but it is complex. Color separation. As an experienced screen printer, you know that color separation is the thing that makes or breaks a design. You must be able to reproduce the image on apparel without losing your mind and your money. The fewer colors you use, the faster you can work, and the less you spend on ink. You probably understand the 4 color separation process, known as CMYK, for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. It is one thing to understand it, and another thing to know how to create separations using Adobe tools. This is another area where you may want to find tutorials or take a class. Halftone simulation. The real fun begins when you encounter color blends or halftones. To create graphics with various tints and shades and blend them so they look like a solid color, dots are used. Dots look much better than squares. As part of the mathematical formula behind vector graphics, they perform beautifully to make infinitely scalable graphics. Background vector created by Starline, www.freepik.com. Shading and texture are added by mixing dots of various sizes and colors. In this way, you can get a lot of wow out of a handful of colors. You may like vectorizing for screen printing in 2021. Sorry to say, this simulation is best accomplished using Adobe software. If you want to do your own color separations and simulations, get educated. The 4 greatest challenges in design recreation. CMYK color separation. Minimize the number of colors you must use when you print the design to maximize your business potential. 8 is okay, 4 is better. Halftone simulation. Use dots to fool the eye into perceiving subtle shading and texture. Amaze your math-hating friends when you tell them that this is math, not art. Vectorization. Use points, lines, and curves and not little squares to create images that come to life. When you create a vector graphic, it can literally be adapted to almost any use. Just scale it up or down. Software used in image recreation for screen printing. Learn Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop thoroughly. Don't cut corners on the educational tools. If you want to devote time away from printing to design recreation, we applaud you. If you are rethinking the concept of doing your own recreation work after seeing the processes involved, consider outsourcing these jobs to artists who solve design problems every day. At SpeedySep, we have an in-house art department, so you don't have to. Call us today to find out how affordable it is to rely on our experienced and dedicated designers. Try SpeedySep now.